Welcome to Oilers Nation Everyday with your hosts, Tyler and Liam.
Oh yeah. Beltmas is back on, baby. Let's get into it with the lead. I'm sorry I didn't do the cigarette thing. I don't just carry around cigarettes all the time, but the Oilers smoked the Penguins and Beltmas is back on. Welcome into Oilers Nation Everyday. We are live from the Sports Closet studio. Check them out online at sportscloset.ca. Get your Christmas shopping done. Not that much time left. Also, shout out to Bet365. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Liam, the people are disappointed we aren't smoking cigarettes today on the show.
You can't just buy one cigarette from the store. I don't have packs laying around either. So, sorry, everyone. We're not smokers. Not on live public shows, anyway.
I'm sorry. I get it would have been funny. And as I read all the comments while the intro was playing, I was like, probably would have made sense. But we're doing a work from home day today because the roads are bad. So that also, again, like if I was driving into work today, maybe I could have stopped and gotten myself a pack of cigarettes or something like that. But anyways, welcome into the show. Dangerous Way. Tyler and Liam should have gone full Snoop Dogg. Can you imagine if the lead was me, like with a dart, like blowing smoke into the camera, doing like smoke tricks?
That post-game picture was iconic, to say the least. The fact that we had like 25 plus NHL personnel just having a cigarette in their mouth in an NHL dressing room was something I wasn't expecting to see in 2025 with this picture. Holy moly. Calvin Pickard.
Calvin Pickard. I mean, that photo right there is why they love him. I mean, the perfect, like, the eyes, everything. It's great. The guys all crushing beers in the room as well. It was an awesome moment last night for the Edmonton Oilers. Those shirts were great. Leon gets his 1,000th point. If you don't know the lore behind those shirts, that's from Leon's wedding when he posted a photo of him having a drunk cigarette late night at his wedding. So anyways, good stuff from the Edmonton Oilers. We're going to break all of that down throughout the show today. We're going to be joined not only by Jeff Marek coming up in about 10-15 minutes time, but we're also going to be joined by Tristan. He's part of Oilers Nation Germany. He's going to join the program and talk to us a little bit about just how big Leon Draisaitl's impact is in Germany and a whole bunch of other things. So a big part of the show today is that the Edmonton Oilers, Leon Draisaitl, he got his 1,000th point. He's the main character today. But with Jeff, we're also going to talk a little bit about the Oilers goaltending situation. Obviously, last night was a really big game. Jarry versus Skinner. It was a double revenge game, Liam. And it's Tristan Jarry who ends up getting the last laugh. I thought he played pretty well in that hockey game. Again, like very similar to the Toronto game. Like wasn't spectacular, wasn't a 30-save shutout, but I have no complaints.
No, the defense let him down on, I would say, at least 3 occasions, to be honest. And maybe one of them was just like an error, which we'll probably get into a little bit later. Yeah. But again, if we're just box score hunting here, he should probably have 2 games over a 900 save percentage, But a couple of late ones have let him down. But I think overall, it's hard to not be happy with what we've seen from Jarry so far. Like even that first goal that went in, I don't remember his goal. It was Tommy Novak. Makes the first save and just isn't able to grab the second one. But the first save was a really strong one. Yeah. I thought he made a good save too on Mantha on that breakaway. I know Stasny kind of played a big role in that one too. But even on the power plays, Pittsburgh had 6 power plays and they only allowed 1 goal. I really enjoyed what I've seen so far from Tristan Jarry.
Really, really good special teams game from the Edmonton Oilers. And again, goalie's got to be your best penalty killer, so he deserves credit for the PK going 5 for 6, but the Oilers power play goes 3 for 4. Let's get into, before we get to Jeff, let's get into our game recap. It's brought to you by Oodle Noodle. You can take advantage of the value menu deal and add 2 green onion cakes, 5 spring rolls, or 6 wontons to your order for just $2. Also, this month at Oodle Noodle, 10% of in-store sales from their ginger beef box go directly to Sports Central. All of December, donate your gently used sports equipment and help kids play through Sports Central. Liam, the Edmonton Oilers, unlike the game against Montreal, they get power plays early. Leon's on the verge of 1,000 points. And this time, they do not make us wait. It's a cross-ice pass from Leon that finds Connor McDavid, who zips it right back to Zach Hyman. Now Leon gets the secondary assist. We'll give Brett Kulak the third assist for firing a puck over the glass when the Penguins were already down 5-on-3. It's been a big week for the once an Oiler, always an Oiler meme. You had Troy Stetcher scoring on himself. Brett Kulak helps the Oilers get the 5-on-3. So that was all fine. Oilers all head onto the ice. Leon's got his 1,000. They mobbed their teammate. Again, really, really cool moment here.
Yeah, it was great. And I'm trying to remember the timeline of this game. Did Leon hit the post on the first power play, or how did that shape out? Okay, so it ironically worked out really well. Like, that would have been a cool moment if he had scored it right off there. But to then end up with a 5-on-3 twice, and then McDavid obviously gets his goal. Like, Draisaitl gets his 1,000th and first point pretty quick after this one as well. But yeah, like, it's funny, isn't it? Like, it's obviously inevitable when this was going to happen as we were getting closer and closer. But for it to happen on Stuart Skinner, and then you obviously see the video of from Tony Bra as well, it was kind of brutal to watch in a way. Like, it's just sad. He was like, oh man, like, that must really suck. But yeah, obviously we'll get into Stu a little bit later on as well. But overall, Leon, like, cool that he got there, and what a way to do it as well with a 4-point night.
Yeah. So a couple of things. One, because I don't want to forget this. Zach Hyman initially pointing to McDavid, being like, nice pass. And it took him like 5 seconds to figure out, like, oh my God, that was Leon's 1,000th point. And then the big smile on his face and he jumps at Leon. I thought that was very, very good. But you're right, a little bit brutal to have to watch Stuart Skinner in the video that Tony posted where he's just like awkwardly cleaning his crease while the whole team skates onto the ice and Pickard's jumping into the mix. Like, again, very sad. I do want to correct one thing though, because usually, and I don't know if we can see it on the main replay, milestone goal, someone grabs the puck, right? The Oilers score, and everyone keeps saying McDavid's looking back at Stuart Skinner, and some people are like, he's looking back at Stuart Skinner and laughing at him. Some people are like, oh, look, he's checking in on Stuart Skinner. He was trying to see if someone grabbed the puck, and I think a ref grabbed the puck, but that's why he was double taking, because he wanted to make sure somebody grabbed the puck.
Yeah, like, let's not read into things too deep here. Connor McDavid, he addressed it a ton in his post game. He addressed it a ton when Skinner was traded. There's a lot of respect there. They were teammates for a few years. They've gone through a lot together on the ice, and there's no way anyone, like, if you think that Connor McDavid was trying to rub that in Skinner's face for whatever reason, then honestly, you're kind of a loser.
Yeah, and I don't even think it was the other side of that scale where it was McDavid being like, oh no, poor Stu, I feel bad for him. He was trying to see if someone picked up the milestone puck for Leon Draisaitl. Like, I just felt like it was classic Twitter, like trying to, read into it too much. There were people who were mocking the Oilers for all jumping onto the ice. Every team will do that for 1,000 points. 1,000 points is a massive milestone. Leon Draisaitl is the 103rd player in NHL history to hit that mark. He is the 5th fastest European-born player to hit the number and the 14th Euro to ever accomplish the feat in the history of the NHL, and he is the first ever German-born player to hit that mark as well. So there are plenty of big stats and all that go along with it. But a massive milestone for the Edmonton Oilers. We're going to talk more about that a little bit later. Again, Christian from Oilersnation Germany will be here. We're doing a fill-in-the-blank segment as well, where I'll throw some more numbers at people. But a really cool moment. After the game, darts. Did you see the cake?
Is that what that was? I wasn't. Yeah. I wasn't sure what it was. I did see the cake. It was special. I'm not sure what it is. But
it's confusing.
Again, like, what a photo. Like, this is crazy stuff. But yeah, pretty cool to see overall. The cake, again, I don't know what that is.
Aaron, leave this up. Can you leave it up for a second? Because I think it's also very clear to tell in this photo, like, who smokes darts and who doesn't. If you go full screen, just so I can get a little bit of a better look at it. Right side of the screen, Ty Emberson, never smoked a cigarette in his life. Equipment staff, TD Force, never smoked a cigarette in his life. Brad Harrison, dead center. That's a guy who's put back a drunk dart or two. Adam Henrique, barely hanging out. He smoked a cigarette. Calvin Pickard, I'm going to go, never smoked a cigarette in his life. Curtis Lazar, sneaky in the background. Darts. Nobody in the world looks more natural than the combination of Leon Draisaitl and Vasily Podkolzin. Those guys both look like this is a normal routine for them. Like they're like, oh, post-game darts? Yeah, I know. I do that every single game. Maybe that's why they're so close. Maybe that's why there's so much chemistry between the two of them, Liam. Maybe they bond in the smoke pit.
Yeah, that could be it. That's why they say friendships are formed, especially when you were a Detroit Red Wing a few years ago and European. So it kind of adds up in that way, doesn't it? I do like Mark Stewart right at the back too. The one is just kind of hanging out there as well, but he looks like a guy that might have had a cigarette or two in his day.
Max Jones, someone laughed about that. I like that he got front and center. People are saying the cake was a German beer stein, but it was like more abstract than that. Like it's hard to tell just from this photo. But anyways, a great celebration for Leon Draisaitl. The shirts were absolutely unbelievable. Leon, if you see this, and you won't, if you give us the rights to sell that shirt, we would make so much money. It could all go to charity. Like, think about it, Leon. Think about the possibilities of what we could do with that shirt. We would sell, I bet you, 10,000 of them first day.
Yeah, we'll have to tag him in a post. I'm sure he'll see it.
Anyways, congrats to Leon Draisaitl on the big milestone, getting his 1,000th career NHL point. And it took him a matter of, I'll even get the number correct for you, 14 seconds to get point 1001 as Connor McDavid walks his way in, 2 power play goals in 12 seconds. Poor Stuart Skinner. He said after the game, you know, McDavid's gone 5-hole on him a lot of times in practice in that same scenario. McDavid pulls it to his backhand, and Stu Skinner, he just had absolutely no shot at this one. McDavid flying through the neutral zone on the feed from Leon. Flip-flop, inside, outside, outside, inside, back of the net. 2-0 Oilers, and it really felt like at that moment, the route was going to be on. Can I also give myself a shout-out for a astute Bet365 thing I did?
Go ahead.
As that Brett Kulak backhander is fluttering out of play, Liam, I fired up the app. Live bet Oilers to win the first period at plus 200. I was feeling like the smartest person in the world, and then Pittsburgh almost tied that thing up. Tommy Novak scores, and then the Penguins had a couple of dangerous looks late in that period to tie it up. Edmonton took their foot off the gas.
I would say Regula and Nurse took their foot off the gas, honestly. Like, the play on, if you want to play the first goal for the Penguins there, and like, I don't know how you bank this off the linesman. Like, glassing out. You know what I mean? Like, how many times have we said this throughout the season? Not just for Regula, but like a ton of guys. Like, you're not under that much pressure. You don't lift your head up once and you just fire it right into the linesman. The linesman they won't be standing on the glass, buddy. And like I said, initially, Jarry makes a good first stop here, but then, you know, he's obviously has to commit to the first shot, can't get back across for the second. And then, what is it, with 15 seconds left, Nurse puts one right into a dangerous area as well. It's just, okay, you two are playing a lot right now, which was questionable. Dial it in.
Yeah, they were awful last night, and maybe we'll get into some of the numbers a little bit later on, because something has to change with the way they're working this blue line here. So it's 2-1. Getting to the second period, Matty Savoy, 7th of the season, and this is one of those that, I mean, we've watched Stu Skinner give them up a handful of times this year. This can't go in. I mean, credit to Matt Savoy for throwing it on net, and I do think his release was a little bit tricky, but the fact that one squeaked through Stu was not a good look for the former Oilers netminder. Edmonton, with Savoy 7th, makes it 3-1. Pittsburgh on the power play made it 3-2. Bouchard gets a power play marker of his own, career point 1002 for Leon Draisaitl as he picks up his 3rd power play point of the evening. Edmonton carries a 4-2 lead into the 3rd, and then the nail in the coffin comes courtesy of, like I said, the man who looked the most natural with the cigarette dangling out of his mouth, Vasily Podkolzin. What a run that Pudsy's on, Liam. 9 goals on the season. He is pacing for, like, I think we're talking 20, 22, 23, 24 goals.
Really? Has it got that high now? That's really good. And a lot of them, too, his production is just at 5-on-5, which makes his run even more special, to be honest. But I think this line in general was so dominant yesterday. The only goal they were on the ice for was the Regula into the linesman goal. But offensively, especially Draisaitl, like, what a game for him. A bit of a fortunate bounce, of course, whoever that defenseman is. I don't remember who that was, and Podkolzin, but you get to the net, and that's what happens when you go to the net. The same thing happened in Toronto the other day. Couple of greasy goals towards the net. We don't see enough Oilers do this, and especially on a night where we see the bottom 6 kind of come up blank again.
Yeah, Podkolzin, by the way, on pace for 22 goals on the year now. He has found the back of the net in 3 of the Oilers' last 5 games. So Podkolzin makes it 5-2. Sorry, Pittsburgh gets one back late in the game. Brian Rust with 3:09 to go, and then McDavid into the empty net, his 20th goal on the season. We'll talk more about McDavid and the uptick in his goal scoring production a little bit later on, but he makes it 6-3. And then I turned off the TV, Liam. I didn't even see the 6-4 goal, but they need to, McDavid and Draisaitl both addressed it after the game. They need to stop doing this thing where they take their foot off the gas late in the hockey game. Like, they're sewering Jarry's numbers, and it's a concentration thing. Like, it's, I don't know, maybe very similar to how they come into this year and they're just like not really dialed in to play hockey because of the long playoff runs. They're a team that sometimes gets a little bit too high on their own supply, if you catch my drift.
Yeah, I think so too. They just, like, obviously the game was over. Like, Pittsburgh wasn't coming back at that time, but the buzzer hasn't sounded yet. And you've got a new goalie in there, and you're supposed to help him out as much as he helps you out. Yeah, and they did this too with Skinner and Pickett over the years too, especially this season. Like, as much as we jump on the goalies for not making saves when we need them, it also comes down to the defenders to step up until that buzzer goes and allow your goalie to, you went from a 901 to an 874 or whatever, ended up being. Like, the numbers don't look pretty, but if you watch the game, Jarry actually had a pretty solid game yesterday.
Yeah, again, that's why we use Liam Horban's quality start meter, and we do not use traditional save percentage. And he gets a thumbs up for last night for me.
Yeah, I agree. If you disagree, let us know in the chat, but I think it was a pretty clear thumbs up.
Let's go out to the Star Mechanical guest line. It's Edmonton's #1 plumbing and heating company. On days like today, when we're getting 20 to 30 centimeters of snow and it is cold as hell, some stuff around your house might not be working. Something might break. That is why Star Mechanical, no matter what, offers 24/7 emergency services. Give them a call or check them out online at starmechanical.ca. Once a week, we are joined by Jeff Marek. It is our favorite moment of the week when Jeff joins us, and there is plenty for us to get to tonight, Jeff.
Pucker up, butter the bread on both sides, Tyler. Look at you go. Oh, I'm impressed. Well done, son. Well done.
Leon Draisaitl, 1,000 career points. He is the 14th European-born NHLer to hit the number. 15th if you count Stan Mikita, I guess, as European-born. I know he was Canadian. That's a whole nother conversation. But anyways, Leon Draisaitl, my question to you, 1,000 points at the age of 30. Do you think this is a guy who, when all is said and done, will view him as a Mount Rushmore European NHLer, like top 4, top 5 European of all time?
Oh, wow. European. Okay. So that's going to have
Yager.
That's going to have Yager. Man, I really want to say Kent Nilsson because, man, is he my favorite. But it's got to be Boris Salming for me. Has to be on there as far as, as far as Nick Lidstrom you put on there. Jeez, but then Leon. Ooh, man, that's a really good one to drop on me right now. Now you're going to give me something to obsess about while I shovel my snow in the backyard after this program here today. That's a really great one. The European Mount Rushmore.
To be fair, when I initially thought this, I was kind of putting like Russians as their own classification and going like, hey, there's the best Russians ever, there's the best Europeans ever, and then best North Americans. Okay. That was like my classifications. So in that sense, maybe it's a little bit easier.
Excluding Russians, it does make it easier. And maybe we could find a place for my Kent Nilsson in there somewhere. Boris Salming's got to be there. Nick Lidstrom's got to be there. For sure. Do you put Teemu Selanne in there? No, you know who you have in there? No, you know who you have in? No, you know who you have in there? Dominic Hasek. You have Dominic Hasek in there. Yeah. Dom's got to be there. Like, look, Dominic Hasek is, for my money, the best goaltender of all time. So Dominic Hasek has to be in there. It's funny, I was just on the sheet, I was talking to Devin Dubnyk, and the conversation turned to, and we saw this with Yzerman and Fedorov, and we saw this with, more recently, obviously, Crosby and Malkin. As great as Leon is, just like as great as Fedorov was and as great as Malkin is, I don't know that we appreciate them fully just because of the superstar who stands in front of them. You know what I'm getting at? Like, if there was no Connor McDavid, how big would Leon Draisaitl for Fedorov, did it for Malkin as well? And they're all superstars in their own conversation too, but just like how much brighter would they have been if they didn't have to stand next to another sun? Can I get back to you? I don't want to like I have too much respect for your show and your audience to just throw something out frivolously. But man, European Mount Rushmore. Ooh, I like that, Tyler. But Hasek has to be on it. Lidstrom has to be on it. Man, you can make a strong case for Curry. That's really good too. Ooh, I mean, I love Draisaitl. He's one of my favorite players. So my instinct, much like with Kent Nilsson, is I would want to put him on. Not there yet.
Well, it's funny.
Not there yet.
To think, is he the number one European to play for the Oilers? Never mind Mount Rushmore. Like you talk about Jarry Curry. Like I think eventually he'll get there.
Was good, man.
Yeah, Draisaitl's got to win.
I know, like Draisaitl is real special, but there was honestly that battery of Gretzky and Curry. Like there was nothing like it. Like really, and I don't think it's funny too, Liam, because I don't think that we have spent like there's a lot of players that have kind of been lost to history that we don't talk a lot about, and we really should. Oh, here's another one for your European Mount Rushmore, Peter Stastny. We don't talk about enough. Who might be on that European Mount Rushmore? But dude, Curry was special. Oh man, it was like almost automatic. Now, you can make the argument, oh yeah, of course, like he's got, 99 dishing to him like for his entire career with the like that. Very true. But we talk about goal scorers that are just sort of instinctive. When we talk about Mike Bossy specifically, Curry was right there too. It's a good one. Who's better European? I'll still give the advantage to Jarry Curry, but put it this way, Liam, by the time the career wraps up, I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't Leon Draisaitl. Other thing about Draisaitl too is, and he, to me, and we saw this with a player like John Tavares, we saw this with a player like Bo Horvat, who when they played in junior hockey, they weren't the prettiest players to watch get around the ice. I remember being at I saw Kelowna a lot, Leon's Memorial Cup year when they won the Western League Championship. Coming a big trade with Prince Albert. Leon comes in and they go to the final of the Memorial Cup. It's the final is Kelowna Rockets facing off against the Oshawa Generals at the legendary Colisée, one of the great arenas in the history of North American hockey. The Quebec Pee Wee tournament we think of as being there for all those many years, and just like Quebec Nordiques, obviously, and the last goal ever scored in that barn was Sorelli with the Oshawa Generals. Leon was great. Leon was awesome, but we also did the same thing. This guy's big. He's got NHL strength. He's got an NHL shot. He can win draws. He's physically dominating, but the boots, and much like John Tavares, much like Bo Horvat, and we realize this now, skating you can fix, right? Like there are teams that will look at a player and say, or tell their amateur scouts around the draft, if the guy can't skate, put him on our do not draft list. Like they used to very much be a thing, like you cannot teach it. Well, the one thing we do know now is, yeah, you can fix skating. And not that Leon Draisaitl is ever going to be confused with Pavel Bure, because he's not, but he gets around the ice very well. Thank you very much. And even on one leg, we go back to that Kings with the Achilles injury. That to me, like you look at moments that sort of define you as a player. How many other guys pack it in? How many other guys just say like, dude, it's like, and he would be like, hockey will always give you a reason to quit. But in that series, I'm like, man, hockey is really giving him a reason to quit. And a lot of guys would have taken the trapdoor or would have taken the exit in the back. But to me, that's one of the gutsiest performances I've ever seen in the playoffs, because every time you take a step or a stride, it's like shooting pains all up the back of your leg. It's one of the toughest performances I've ever seen. And, and that's only, a couple of things that we think of with Leon Draisaitl. I was thrilled to see it happen. One of the great guys of the game, super talented, one of the best interviews. I mean, we're on the side of the microphone, one of the best interviews you're going to find, and an honest guy, and part of a wave of German hockey players. Now is just going to continue as Germany continues to rise as a hockey power. And his dad, Peter, was a great player for Germany as well.
Yeah. I have a trivia question for you, Jeff, because you mentioned Draisaitl getting traded to Kelowna. Do you remember the other player Kelowna acquired from Prince Albert that year? He does play in the NHL.
That was Josh Morrissey.
Yes, it was Josh Morrissey. And all it
Right?
took
That was
was
Josh
like
Morrissey.
two
Yeah,
random
Josh
players
Morrissey.
and the second round pick. It's kind of crazy.
Really?
Yeah, that's all it was.
Yeah, that was a wagon of a team, man. And Tyrell Goulburn, I think, was on that team as well. Super tough.
Yeah.
Philadelphia ended up taking him. Oh boy, was he ever tough. Anyway, how's it going, guys?
There you go.
Yeah, let's switch gears a little bit here, because obviously the other big story from last night was the Jarry versus Skinner rematch game, and we haven't had a chance to chat with you on this show since Stan Bowman, pulled the trigger on that deal and brought him in. And you text me right after, you're like, "Hey, we talked about a very similar situation a couple of weeks ago on the show." So I don't want to say that anyone was super surprised that this deal eventually happened, but still, like, getting him at full board, like paying the full salary, having both Skinner and Kulak go out the door, and a draft pick, like, it felt like a lot. Were you surprised at what the total cost and the total deal ended up being?
I think if it wasn't full freight, then it probably would have been the first round draft pick that went. Right? Like if that and that's like you try to look like, okay, so how is this all going to make sense? I do think, by the way, we should even though it wasn't technically part of the deal, we should include Spencer Stastny here as part of that one sort of trade day for Stan Bowman. My only question about all of it, because this is more of like a full context question, and that is, how did Tristan Jarry go from, and I'm thinking from a scout's point of view, so think about your pro scouts. I know there were some mitigating factors, but work with me on this one. So from a pro scout point of view, how did Tristan Jarry go from anybody can have him for free, including the Edmonton Oilers because he was on waivers 11 months ago? How did he go from we could have him for free and said no, to not do we want him, we'll take him at full freight and essentially attach a second round draft pick to him? Because that, like, we've seen teams get in trouble when they take wild swings based on streaks, either good or bad, right? When you make your mind up on a player who's going through a streak, either a good streak or a bad streak, if you make up your mind on that player, that's when teams get in trouble. And you guys have seen it too. It's like, this guy is so hot, and trade for him, and then he gets cold and he goes back to being that same player, and you say, like, yeah, it's because you made a move while a guy was on a streak. Like, should know better than that. But I think that the Oilers organization probably looked at the streak year for Tristan Jarry isn't this year. Like, it wasn't that first 14 games. The streak year was last year. Only the streak was a -1 for them. So they didn't base their decisions based on last season. And also, even though he was available, a move for a player that was going through that tough a streak in whatever was happening with Tristan Jarry, probably would have been a tough one to sell too. So I don't know that, again, like, I'm trying to figure out the rationale here, because it just seems like a wild swing from a pro scouting point of view. It did look like, and it still is, a lot, and it's still a trade that Kyle Dubas can turn into more. Look, doesn't work out for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Kulak's going for a third. So then you add another lottery ticket. Doesn't work out for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They fall out of it. You're moving Stuart Skinner, and you get whatever pick a team's going to surrender for that one. So this is the continued sort of progress of the Pittsburgh Penguins, because this trade is, I think, far from done from Pittsburgh's point of view.
And
But one thing I do want to say, I do like Stastny, because now you have someone that can pass the puck on your third pair.
And they needed that. And
Kulak's good for a lot of other things, and he can play up and down too.
Yeah.
So
Stastny can fly as well. But you mentioned, like, Pittsburgh not done. Yeah. Let's flip that over to Edmonton now. Like, do you get the sense Bowman is done tinkering between the pipes?
No. The only question is, do you want 3 goalies? Because it's clear that they love him in the room. Like, is there value? Like, I always go back and forth on this one. I know it's a fool's errand to have this conversation, because no, you don't worry about feeling. But whenever I hear a good guy in the room, my default is always, yeah, they don't flood the room. All right, like, I could be a good guy in the room. The Zamboni doesn't go in there. They don't flood the room. It's obvious that the guys love him. I get it. but I don't think that the Oilers want to hang on to a third goalie here. So yeah, I don't think that Stan Bowman is done with his goalie situation. Devin Dubnyk was just on the sheet and mentioned okay, but you're kind of in the same spot here. If you really don't think you can rely on your backup netminder, you're still in that same spot. And I agree, and that's why I don't think that Stan Bowman is done, and perhaps rightfully so. Yesterday in Buffalo, when Jarmo Kekalainen said, look, we're gonna make a decision here on our goaltenders. The three goaltending situation is not one that anybody likes. Ask any of the goalies. Publicly, they'll say, oh yeah, we're fine, we're pros. They hate it. All the goalies hate it. The players don't like it. Coaches like all of it. It's really uncomfortable for everybody. So that decision is coming. And if the valuation turns out to be, and again, a lot of this is Jarmo Kekalainen's decision here. If they decide to go with Colton Ellis and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, which it feels to me like that's the decision that Kekalainen will make here. I really do wonder about Alex Lyon with the Edmonton Oilers. I really, and to me, and again, this has shades of Colorado last year written all over it. Swap out both goaltenders. That one kind of feels like it would make sense from both sides. A, Buffalo wants to solve the problem. B, Edmonton is still looking for another netminder. How do you make the money work? I get it. So that's 1.5 for another year. I think that Janmark would have some trade protection, or Tomasek, or Kasperi Kapanen. There are, if you want to trade to get him, you can make the money work. The question becomes then, if you're going to make that deal, do you want to let go of any of those players? Mm-hmm. That is, again, that's just what I wonder about here around Alex Lyon.
Yeah, the Oilers would then just have do you think Pekka just goes to Bakersfield, or do you truly think that they? Yeah, because then that
I can't
so many
see
goalies,
although,
Jeff, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny too. You wonder about the Connor Ingram and all this too, right?
Yeah.
At times, okay. I know that Connor Ingram's numbers look great in Bakersfield. I get that. Talking to people there, in and around Bakersfield, they'll tell you this isn't a team that necessarily defends well, right? And there are moments where Connor Ingram makes massive saves, okay? But he's really up against it because the team isn't the most defensively sound team in the American Hockey League. Now, having said that, and most specifically, the last couple of weeks hasn't been great for Connor Ingram, but there have been games where you watch the game and you say to yourself, yeah, he let in 4, but at no point did I say he had to have that one, right? So it's almost like a tough situation to evaluate a goaltender. American League is always tough. For goalies will tell you that too, because pucks are coming from all over the place. At least in the NHL, everything is so professional, and everyone's got their systems, and where pucks are coming from. But Bakersfield is a challenging place to evaluate a goaltender. But I do wonder if they have a look at Ingram maybe before making any decision on who else they might want to bring in, unless you think below is the minute that Ellis is over his injury, he's coming right back in, and they got to make a move right away, and then Bowman has to make a decision quickly. That would be a mitigating factor if you think that they may move Lyon somewhere else, if it's Lyon that goes.
One more on the Buffalo Sabres really quick.
Sure.
When a new GM comes in and he talks about being aggressive, I think ears kind of perk up all around the NHL, both fans and front offices. Yep. Oilers fans have already been throwing it in our YouTube chat, but Alex Tuch. Does the Jarmo hiring make it more or less likely that Alex Tuch gets moved this year?
I think that Jarmo, it's funny, Brian Burke was, again, I'm referencing the show, about an hour ago, Burke was just on, I asked him, what do you do if you're Jarmo? Would know Jarmo for a long time. And he said he'll get a decision fast. It's at a point now where Jarmo Kekalainen needs either you're in or you're out. Here's our offer. Here's what we're prepared to do. If you're interested, we can negotiate. If not, we need to move on. So either way, you will have a decision and have one quickly. Like Jarmo Kekalainen right now, because he's been with the organization for 8 months, this isn't one of those guys. You've seen this before. A new GM takes over, and what's the first thing they do? They buy themselves time. Well, I just got here. I need to know what's happening with the organization. I need to get a full snapshot of the NHL team, the American League team, and that's all true, but you buy yourself a year. You buy yourself a year's grace on your contract, just like, I need to have a look under the hood here. He's already done all that. That's why, like, he knows the decision behind the bench, and he knows the decision with the players, and he knows the decision with the goaltenders as well. So, put it this way: if I'm Alex Tuch's group, if I'm Alex Tuch's team, I want the Adrian Kempe contract. Right? So if you're Alex Tuch, you're saying, yeah, you know what? It's going to be an $80 million investment. Do you want to make that with Alex Tuch? If not, we can move on. And Edmonton makes sense. And I would not be surprised if Dallas was in on this one too. There'll be other teams, but those would be exhibit A and B for me right now. And don't forget, Dallas has the Sagan money. Dallas has the Sagan money to play with.
So there's a name I've started pushing an agenda, Jeff, and I would like you to back me up if you don't mind.
Of course.
I would like Jared McCann to become an Edmonton Oiler. What do you make of that situation in Seattle? Or do you think if they kind of continue to fall, they could finally sell off some pieces here?
Wow. So Seattle, Jason Gregor always makes this point, and he's right. Greg's always says, like, that is the one team that needs Gavin McKenna more than any other team in the NHL. That team just cannot score. And Lane Lambert did a great job at the beginning of the season limiting odd man rushes against them. Like, that's how they won all those games, guys. They had good goaltending, and there were no 2-on-1s. Like, you watch a Seattle game, and you'd be like, halfway through the second period, like, have they given up any odd man rushes? Like, no. Like, Lane Lambert really had that thing tuned. The problem is they can't score. And that's why I look at this team, and like maybe one day like Berkeley Catton becomes like a bona fide NHLer, or maybe he becomes like a 35 goal guy. I just don't know that right now the Seattle Kraken want to let go of anybody that can score goals. That may change, and they may just take a look at this year and say, man, you know what? Again, it's going to be a tough one. We need to do whatever we can to try to get into the Gavin McKenna sweepstakes, but that might be the only way you see that. But don't forget too, like, there's a lot of pressure on this organization. Or like maybe in a lot of ways, the worst thing that happened to them was making the playoffs and knocking off the Avalanche in their second year of existence, because all of a sudden expectations were raised, and like, oh wow, look at this team, we're just like Vegas, we jumped the queue, we're this is the new model for expansion teams. No, it's not. No, it's not. They're back to behaving like an expansion team. I know it's probably not the answer you're looking for, and McCann does make a lot of sense, and he does score goals. I just don't know that right now Seattle's in the we're going to let go of a goal scorer business.
I just look at this draft class too, and it's not just McKenna. There's like 4 guys who could go first overall, and I just think if you can fall, I don't understand, Jeff, and maybe you can figure this out for me. Like, how do teams not recognize where they are in the process? You know what I mean? Like, it just took Vancouver so long to finally be like, we are rebuilding, despite us signing blockbuster and Thatcher Demko over the summer. The Calgary Canucks refused to say what their identity is. I think Seattle's another one. There seems to just be more teams who want to try and be a good team, but are just clearly not, than actual good teams in the NHL.
So here is, I'll give you the ultimate answer to it. The answer is ownership. Yeah. It's not managers. Like, these guys aren't stupid, right? Like, Jim Rutherford is not dumb. Patrick Allvin is not dumb. Like, they know where they're at. The issue is the owner would like some playoff revenue. Thank you very much. Yeah. Right? Like, I still think that, and maybe most specifically here with Vancouver, even though it feels, thankfully, like it was a million years ago, the lack of revenue during COVID really hurt these guys' ownership, right? Like, hammered them. And there was still, like, coming out of it when the NHL got back to quote unquote regular. I mean, every single owner was like, we need to make that money back. We got to recoup that money. All that money that we budgeted for that went out the window. All those empty rinks, all those games with empty where it was just like black curtains and empty stands. Like, we need to make that money back. So the ultimate answer of how come teams can't see it, they can. The problem is, you guys know what the golden rule is? It's not do unto others as you would have others do unto you. You know what the real golden rule is?
What?
He who has the gold makes the rules. That's the golden rule. And when ownership wants something, your best thing, because we always talk about one of the best things a manager can have is the ability to manage upwards, and that's managing your owner. And bluntly, that's the reason why it looks like, how can teams not have an accurate snapshot of themselves? They do, but sometimes it's ownership that has a different way of seeing how the team should behave.
Jeff Marek every weekday on the sheet over at the Daily Faceoff YouTube. Appreciate you popping on and giving us some time. Great analysis as always.
Of course. No problem. Go back to gushing about Draisaitl.
Yeah. Oh, and we will. We have a whole thing. Jason Gregor has like pictures from Leon Draisaitl's childhood. We'll see you later, Jeff.
See you, boys. Go Manheim.
See ya.
Yes. All right. There you go. Jeff Marek on the Star Mechanical guest line. Liam, you can tell that you worked in the AJHL for a number of years because you called them the Calgary Canucks.
Didn't I say Calgary Canucks as if like I was listing Calgary and then the Canucks and then Seattle? Is that not? I thought that's how I said it anyway, but I can see the confusion.
Yep.
My least favorite organization in the world, the Calgary Canucks.
Wow. Look at them catching a stray. Shout out to Jeff for swinging by and joining us. Liam, we got a new segment we need to do here before we continue along with the show. Going back to the game last night, it is our bright moment of the game, and it is brought to you by our new friends at Bright Dental. This segment, a presentation of Bright Dental, a family dental office located in St. Albert, open Monday to Friday, 8 to 8. Bright Dental is a Blue Diamond Invisalign provider. Schedule your free dental scan today. I don't know if you know this, Liam, but I had Invisalign back in the day. It fixed up my crooked teeth. Give Bright Dental a call to book an appointment, 780-458-2333, or go to brightdental.ca. Look at my smile.
Yeah. Despite the stereotypes, I never had braces.
All right, Liam, your bright moment of the game from last night.
My bright moment of the game last night, I mean, to not go with the Leon point, obviously, try and do something a little bit different. I will go with Evan Bouchard's goal on the power play. I just thought he absolutely ripped that puck, and we've seen that a lot more recently, but that goal was a little bit different from a Bouch bomb, and I just thought it was a really good play from Evan Bouchard. And again, that power play has been unbelievable since Ryan Nugent-Hopkins came back. So I guess my bright spot is that goal, but also just the power play in general.
I'm going to go with something that happened after the game. I think we have a video, but Stuart Skinner going over to the Edmonton Oilers locker room while they're celebrating Leon's 1,000th point. You see Knobloch there, but McDavid gives him a big hug. Draisaitl gives him a big hug. I thought this was a bright moment in what was kind of an awkward game. And like McDavid did the thing where he skated past Stu and gave him a tap on the pads at one point. Like, it was awkward. It was clunky. It didn't feel totally normal, but to see this moment after the game with Draisaitl giving him the hug and Connor talking to him, like, that was a heartwarming finish to a weird night.
Yeah, and McDavid spoke about it too in his post game, just like playing against Skinner, and he said he was like super weird. Like, as a guy you've played with for so long, you go up against in practice every single day, and now you're against him in the NHL. And I think it's even weirder that it just happened so quickly after the trade. If you have a little bit of time to get used to things, well, like Tristan Jarry's not even has he been to Edmonton yet? No, his first game would have been in Toronto, of course. So he's not even been to Edmonton yet. Skinner's been in Edmonton more recently. So I think it was a bit weird, but that moment, I think it's just cool. And again, like, there's always a human side to all of this. And that's why I don't totally buy like Skinner lost the room based off like his personality, like some people wanted to put out there. It's like, no, if he lost it by anything, it was his inconsistent play, but that's besides the point. But really nice to see, I thought, at the end of the game too. And it was also flipped as well. Jarry went and did it with the Penguins.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. He went over and said hi to all his teammates. You're right. Jarry did also meet them in Toronto. So he hasn't even been to Edmonton yet, which is wild. I want to shine some light on a story that Jason Greger has up at Oilersnation.com. It's really, really cool. Everyone go give it a read after. But he talked to Leon Draisaitl's parents, with Leon himself, with his older sister. And he has a bunch of pictures from Leon Draisaitl's childhood as well. So go read it because the interview is so good. But he has a bunch of throwback photos of Leon that I just think are awesome. There's a good one of him and his dad. Look at this one with the Volkswagen logo in the back as well. But a young Leon Draisaitl is a cool story from Greger.
Now that Volkswagen photo, that's a German photo.
That should be an ad. That should be like Volkswagen should have that on billboards in Edmonton and all throughout Germany.
Yeah, like the rise of Leon Draisaitl is such an underrated story in the NHL. Of a guy from Germany where players don't come from Germany in the NHL. At least they didn't when Leon was coming through. What was it like? Dennis Seidenberg, Marcel Gock, like who else really was there? I can't think of many other. Tobias Rieder, you know what I mean? Like the national team was like those guys. Maybe there's a couple other guys here and there, but for him to get to where he is today is outstanding. He's a top 3 player in the NHL. Everyone knows it. He's one of the few guys that can score 50 goals and get 50 assists consistently. And it's just remarkable. And he's going to go down as one of the greatest players to ever play in the NHL. And luckily, we have him here in Edmonton, and somehow we got him 3rd overall because he just wasn't as good as a skater as everyone else wanted him to be. And it's unfortunate that 3 of the top 4 picks in that draft are obviously 3 of them are Florida Panthers and they have a Stanley Cup. But Leon Draisaitl is the best player from that draft, and he's not particularly close.
Yeah, I have a piece that's going up in about 15 minutes where I look back at what was kind of being said about him back in that draft and where he was ranked. Like, there were legitimate websites that had him ranked between 6th and 8th for that draft. And I looked at 15 or 16 different, like, of the higher end sites that do NHL draft work. And not to dunk on anyone, but like, no one had him as a top 2 prospect in that draft. The highest he was 3rd, which is crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy to think. And that's why, like, you can't. The drafts are fun. I love drafts. I love prospects. Obviously, I'm a scout, but like, the draft doesn't matter in a sense of like, it is based off like what team personnel wants as well. And you'll see that obviously when you look throughout previous drafts. But yeah, for the others to snag him, Aaron, could you pull up the draft? I think what was it? The 2014 draft. I'm curious who everyone else was because he has to be first in points, obviously, but I wonder who's closest. It must be Sam Reinhart, unless it was someone sneaky later on.
Pasternak.
Right. Pretty good player.
Yeah.
400
Pasternak
goals.
Pasternak went 25th, and Braden Point went 79th that year. Those are the top 3. William Nylander, Dylan Larkin, Nick Ehlers. Those are all names who were in there as well. Sam Reinhart, obviously.
Good draft. Very good draft.
It's a hell of a draft. Like, this thing is deep. Travis Sanheim went in that draft. Like, so many good players. Jake Waldman was in that draft, 82nd overall to the Blues.
You know, Travis Sanheim sounds like he should be a German player.
That's because it sounds like Mannheim. Is that why you're saying it?
It's literally the only reason why I'm saying it. Yes.
All right. I think our next guest here is ready to go. I know we weren't originally going to get to him for a few minutes, but if he's here, let's bring him in. Because if you don't know, if you're kind of new to the show, new to the nation, like Oilers Nation has a pretty unique connection to Germany, and this predates Leon Draisaitl's time with the team. Like, there's Oilersnation.de, Oilers Nation Germany. There's a group that's come to Edmonton kind of multiple times to they come all the way from Germany and come here to watch Oilers games. They're awesome. Liam, we got a chance to hang out with them last time they were in town. Aaron, if Christian is here, pop him on the screen. There he is. Christian joins us. Christian, appreciate you giving us some time today. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Great show. So glad to be here.
Yeah. Again, appreciate you popping on. Hey, are you going to be a part of the group that's coming to Edmonton in 2026 in a few months?
Yes, exactly.
You are.
We are coming on March 27 to April 5th. Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about why you're here. It is obviously the big milestone for Leon Draisaitl last night. How did it feel for you as a German hockey fan, a German Oilers fan, getting to see Leon Draisaitl hit that just crazy milestone last night?
Yeah, it was, as you said, it was crazy. Yeah, because of course on the one hand it was obvious. Yeah, it had to come. Yeah, somehow, somewhen. But if it hits, then it's crazy because you think about, yeah, because um, he's not only a great German player, not only a great European player. He's one of the best of his generation. Yeah, and this is crazy because this is not very often in Germany. Yeah, we have this similar path, let's say, to Dirk Nowitzki in the NBA. Yeah, of course, this name comes up every time. Then, yeah, he's got one big advantage though. Yeah, but um, yeah, this is very unique for us because we are getting proud. We stay up the whole night. Yeah, we had to organize how we go to the bed and be awake. Yeah, it was 1:30 in the morning for us. So yeah, very good night. And then of course, especially the story with Stewie in net for Pittsburgh was a little bit more special for it. Yeah.
How, like, obviously Draisaitl is a big name here in Edmonton, but obviously in Germany, like, hockey's not the number one sport. It's soccer or football. But how big of a star is Draisaitl in Germany? Does, like, the common folk know who Leon Draisaitl is, or where's he on the level of that?
Yes, definitely. But to be honest, I would say he's the first hockey player because when I go to work or to my grandparents, they don't have anything in common with hockey. But about the Oilers or especially Leon, they are asking me. Everybody knows, yeah, because um, he's a star player. Yeah, he was even Sportsman of the Year in Germany 2020. Yeah, and this is very very raw because usually you have to win a title or something like this. Yeah, to get this credit. Yeah, so Nowitzki obviously was Sportsman of the Year or tennis players, but never on hockey players. If you would have asked 15 years ago for Seidenberg or Gotch or I don't know Rieder, they would say who? But Draisaitl is definitely a star.
Let me ask you a little bit, like the Draisaitl name. It's not just exclusive to Leon. His father Peter is such like a big part of hockey history in Germany. Can you explain how significant he is in the history of German hockey?
Yes, of course. So he was, I would say, one of the top 15 or 20 players in Germany in history. Maybe we had some better scorers, yes. So maybe you know the name Kühnhackl, Erich. It's the father of Tom Kühnhackl. He was, I guess, the best of all time in Germany. But he was a great role model. He brought professional things also to trainings, to athletics, how to let's say how to work on and off the ice. Yeah, you have to know hockey was wild. Hockey was really really wild. So there was, I think, 10, 15 years later, then you educated yourself on the ice in Northern America, let's say. Yeah, it still was the same in Germany. Yeah, it was only goons on the ice and stuff like this, and he was one of the first, I would say, who brought some technique and focusing on skating and stuff like this. Yeah, so that's what he's known for. Yeah, and of course, maybe the drama at the Olympics with the puck not crossing the ice for some millimeters.
There's been speculation here recently that the NHL is going to do some European games in Germany, and it would be Edmonton, Ottawa would be two of the teams. I would assume Detroit would obviously go to for Moritz Seider. What do you make of that idea? And where would it go? Like, what would be a good town for city would them to go to play these games?
Usually it should be Munich, I guess, because they have the newest arena, but they already have been there. So I would guess Cologne again. It's Leon's hometown, town, and the focus there is much more. The people are going crazy when Leon is in town in summer and stuff like this. Yeah, so I would assume it should be Cologne. We had this friendly match, 2017,
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. So it was. By the way, it was our our birth, let's say, Oilersnation Germany. So of course we would be happy and we would organize everything to be there with a big group, and this would be very special for us, of course.
Last one we have for you. It's an Olympic year, and NHL players are going to be there. Leon Draisaitl's never had a chance to represent Germany at the Olympics. I guess, like, two-part question. How excited are you to see Leon at the Olympics? And what player are you most excited to see him play with on Team Germany?
That's a pretty good question because I guess most of the guys in Germany would say Moritz Seider, yeah, because I would say he's the second popular player, more than Stützle, but I would like to see him with Stützle together, yeah, because he's a different type of a player, but also on an elite level, yeah, and to combine these things together in one line should be crazy, yeah. Maybe together with Peterka or something like this, then you definitely don't have to hide, yeah. So of course we have not a depth, we don't have to dream, but temporarily in the game we could be something, yeah. And yeah, I think Stützle is the guy who I want to see next to him, yeah. And of course it's very important for us, yeah. It's not far away from us also, yeah. We go there, I think 5-6 hours only with a car. Especially a 5-man group of Oilersnation Germany will be there, yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have tickets for a German game, but I guess we will organize this in the Olympic park or something like this.
It's kind of, is it funny? And I don't mean this to sound rude, because obviously in 2018, Germany got the silver medal, but is it funny and cool now to have like expectations going into the Olympics when it's best on best? Like, you just name that first line that you could have like this. That's a legit line. And obviously Seider, and even like if Grubauer goes, I'm assuming he'll be the starting goalie. I know he's not doing a great job in the NHL, but he's still an NHL goaltender. Like, it must be cool to finally have like true expectations. Like, we could medal at this if we perform.
Yeah, definitely. So as I said, yeah, you don't have to dream. You usually, when everything goes normal, then you don't speak about medals, but yeah, at the end, it's everybody comes to the first elimination round, I guess. Yeah, this is the modus, and this is one game. Yeah, and everything can happen. So you're talking about injuries or whatever. Especially, this is always our thing in Europe when we are talking about USA or Canada. Yeah, maybe they don't have the chemistry. Yeah, they don't play together. Our national team always plays together, and now we are adding 6, 7, 8 of the best of the world. Yeah, so this could be the advantage. So quarterfinals maybe would be very huge for us, but to be honest, I guess it's just a dream, but excited to be there and to watch against best on best.
Yeah, appreciate your time, Christian. Thank you so much for doing this. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for.
There you go, Christian. Again, Oilersnation Germany. It's a great thing they have going on over there. I can't wait to see them all when they come back to Edmonton in 2026. But felt like that was fitting to do with Draisaitl's 1,000-point to bring in our friends from over in Germany. So thank you again to Christian for giving us a little bit of time. Liam, I got some fill-in-the-blank questions I want to throw your way. So let's get into that a little bit now. We talked earlier about Vasily Podkolzin. He's on pace for 22 goals this year. Coming into training camp, there was the batch of unrestricted free agents that the Oilers kind of had looming, right? It was Wallman, they got him done. It was Ekholm, they eventually got Ekholm done as well. But Podkolzin was kind of the big one where you and I both sat here, I think, and had the point of like, if you think he's going to pop, and if you believe he is a long-term fit with Leon Draisaitl and all of that stuff, you sign him before he pops off. Like, get it done before the season. If you're going to staple him next to Leon Draisaitl, get the deal done, because if he scores 25 goals, he's going to cost you a hell of a lot more than he would have at the start of the season. And we've roasted the Oilers for not getting ahead of these contract things in the past, and they finally did. They gave him a 3-year deal, $2.95 million AAV. So when you sit there and go, oh man, the Frederick deal sucks and the Mangiapane deal sucks, I also think we have to give some love to Bowman for getting this Podkolzin deal done before the start of the season, before this offensive outburst came.
Yeah, he was easily the one with the most potential too, obviously with his age. And yeah, credit to him for a guy that was playing alongside Draisaitl and struggled to score, admittedly, for the bulk of the season last season. But I did think he took a step in the playoffs and it was just kind of floating up and down the lineup, right? He was a guy you could put anywhere and he would show up and give you a good game. So yeah, credit to Bowman for getting this one done. I do think Warman and Ekholm will probably both work out too, especially with Ekholm going down to 4 million next year. Like if he can keep it a pretty decent standard of what he's at right now for maybe at least one more season and maybe the year after that, if we're lucky, then it's looking like a pretty decent summer of players that he re-signed if Trent Frederick can also get his feet moving a little bit too.
Well, yeah, that's a part of it as well. So
Yeah.
Vasily Podkolzin is now up to 9 even strength goals on the season, which actually puts him inside the top 60 for all NHL forwards in even strength goals. He is tied with William Nylander. Nick Schmaltz is having a crazy good year, but Podkolzin is tied with him as well. He's ahead of guys like Eberle and O'Reilly, Carter Verhaeghe. He's actually ahead of Leon Draisaitl in even strength goals, crazy enough. So the production's been crazy. Your first fill in the blank, Liam. Podkolzin finishes with blank goals this season.
What game are we at? 35? 34?
Yeah, he's on pace for about 22.
I think I'll just say 22. I think he's playing at a sustainable pace in the way he's scoring goals. Like he's not doing anything special. He's just going to the net, and he's also playing alongside the best player in the league, one of the best players in the league in Draisaitl. I wouldn't be that surprised if he, like you had the prediction at the start of the season, and I thought it was a little bit crazy, but didn't you say you could get 25 goals?
Yeah, I did. And again, like for me, I just saw so many moments last year where he was getting to good spots and then just not shooting the puck, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt like if he got a little bit more confidence, if he got a little bit more comfortable with Leon Draisaitl, that eventually the goals would kind of start to go. He was also snake bit at the start of last season and couldn't buy a goal. Like it took him a month to find the back of the net. So I'll go ahead. I'll be a bit more optimistic. I'll say he keeps rolling. He gets a few more multi-goal games. He'll stay with Leon. I'll say 24 for Leon or for Vasily Podkolzin this season, which again would put him pretty high up in even strength scoring in the NHL. But I'll say 24 for Podkolzin. Next one, it's about Leon Draisaitl. So I'm going to outline. Obviously, he's at 1,003 points in his career now. I'm going to throw a few things at you. You tell me if you think these are realistic. Draisaitl, who has averaged 112 points per season over the last 4 years, do you think for the next 5 seasons, Leon Draisaitl could average 100 points a year? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, let's say he plays till 40, because I think it's totally possible that he plays till 40.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you think in the last 5 seasons of his career then, so if he goes 5 where he averages 100, do you think that for the last 5 he could average 70 a year? 80, 90, and then maybe a 50 and a 60 in there, but do you think he could average 70?
Yeah, because I still think average players are scoring 70 points now. I think scoring will just keep improving.
Okay. You add all that up. Do you think Leon could get another 50 points this year in the final, 40 some odd games? Like that's an obvious yes, right?
Yeah. He can get 60.
Okay, so like if he stays healthy, we're talking about a guy who we just mapped up, I think being like pretty soft on our projections as well, who's going to be at 1,900 points in his career. He said yesterday in an interview with Gene, and I know, Aaron, I know you have the clip, but we can just roll through with this. He said in an interview with Gene yesterday, like, I don't think I'm getting another 999. And I kind of like, it perked my ears up. And I was like, I wonder how high he could get. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, Liam, that he becomes a guy who finishes with north of 1,900 points in his career. Like again, the math's there. If he stays healthy and he wants to play until he's 40, like Ovi and like Sid are going to, like he can get there.
Yeah, I definitely like he's one of the most unique scorers in the league, like we spoke about. Like even if the say shot disappears, for example, he can still pass the puck better than anybody else. And the other side of it too, and I know the end of last season was a bit of a weird one for everyone on the injury front, but he never misses games. He always plays. So that's the side of it too, is like if you're playing basically every single night for the next however long, then you know you're scoring this. He's got at least 2.5 seasons left with Connor McDavid. How many points is he just going to put up there alone? Like he might average a little bit more than 120 points one season. So I think it's well within reach for him. And I mean, how can you doubt any of these star players in the NHL right now?
So right now, Jaromir Jagr is second all-time in scoring at 1,921. Messier's at 1,887. I just kind of outlined you to the math for him to get to 1,900, but obviously, again, injuries, things like that could derail it. Fill in the blank. Leon Draisaitl finishes his career with blank for points.
What was Jagr?
1,921.
I'll just, you know what? Let's do it. 2007.
I think when all is said and done, the list for top scorers in NHL history, the day Leon retires, or I should say maybe the day Connor retires, because he'll probably retire after, I think the top 5 scorers will go Wayne 1, McDavid 2, Draisaitl. No, I'll say Sid 3, Draisaitl 4, Jagr 5. So I'll say Sid finds a way to get to the 2,000 mark. I think he might just play until he legitimately gets it. So I'll say it goes Wayne 1, Sid 2, Crosby 3, and I'll say Draisaitl finishes with like 1941 or something like that. And he'll be 40, and it'll be like, I'm not coming back for another season to try get like the final 59 points, and he'll retire. But I think he will. I legitimately believe he will finish top 5 all time in NHL scoring.
So do you have the list in front of you right now? Because I was going to say, like, who's kind of on this list? I just looked at McKinnon for people who are curious. He has 1,073 points in 903 games. But if you remember McKinnon, he's only had 3 100-point seasons. So he hasn't had that. I would say his career started a little bit slower in the points totals. So probably not going to be able to climb as high as those McDavid and Draisaitl.
Yeah, Kucherov is 36 points ahead of Leon Draisaitl. We'll see what that gap is by the end of the season. But even he's 2 years older than Leon, so I wonder about, how long does Kucherov play? I don't think he'll be there long enough to get that high. The other active players who are ahead of Draisaitl, Marchand, McKinnon, Giroux, McDavid, Tavares, Stamkos, Kopitar, Kane, Malkin, and Ovi. Like, I don't think Ovi's playing enough. Ovi's only at 1654. I don't think Ovi's getting up all that high. Like, there aren't a lot of really young guys on this list, so yeah, I mean, Matthews is down at, where's Matthews? He's at like 750 points. Like, he's not getting another 1,000 points in his NHL career. Like, I don't know. Or he's not getting to 1,000 then getting another 900. Like, I don't know. I think Draisaitl could legitimately finish top 5 all time in scoring.
Yeah, that's a really good way to map it out, just the way you did. Because, if you only, however many seasons it was of 120 points-ish, and then the rest just 70 points, like I know we're looking really deep into the future, don't get us wrong, and maybe there's an injury that stumbles it, whatever, but like, if you're looking at it today, like, it's an incredibly realistic target for him to hit.
Yeah. Next one I got for you, and Mulek kind of put it in the chat, but there have been 8 defensemen in the history of the NHL who have gotten to 1,000 points in their careers. Blank % chance Evan Bouchard gets there, Liam.
What's he at right now?
270 so far in his career, 270 points in 381 regular season games. That is factoring in the first couple of years where he was right around half a point per game, but since then he's been pretty darn close to a point per game. But if you do 270 divided by, what was the games played number? I said 381. You do that, and let's say he plays 1,200 hockey games, because I think he'll be a long, long time NHLer. 1,200, that would get him only to 850. So again, you would probably need Bouchard to have a pretty good run here of like 3-4 years where he is a like point per game player.
I'm bad at these percentage games, but I don't think he'll get it. So I'll say, like, blind percent chance he gets it is what you said, right?
Yeah.
I'll just say like 10%. That's a huge number. You said 1,200 games, he only has 800 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you got to think too. I'm trying to factor in the idea of, like, okay, if we live in this world, the others win a Stanley Cup, McDavid leaves, then McDavid's points are gone from him, right? Like, as much as like we defend him and be like, oh, he's not a McDavid merchant, he still benefits from him. There's no doubt about it. But I just feel like that's such a high number to get to, and he might need a 100-point season to get there.
Yeah, I think we kind of forget he's only 26. Like, again, he could have 10 more years of like really good offensive production. And like Mulek said, he needs 10 seasons of close to a point per game or he needs 10 seasons of a point per game to get there. I do think it's a coin flip. Mulek laughs, 50% chance he either gets it or he doesn't. But that was legitimately going to be my answers. I was like, I think it's a coin flip. Like, he might be a guy who just like grinds it out and plays 12, 13 years and is always on power plays. So even his bad years are like 45 points later in his career. But it's a tall order for Bush. I might even go lower. I might say 40%. Nuge is a lock though, right? Like, we don't even have to do the Nuge conversation. He's going to get there. It's just a matter of if he'll be an Oiler, which I think he will be.
Yeah, because what's he at, like 775 or something like that? Is that too high? Yeah. So
7.
He'll be an Oiler.
773 points. He's got how many more years left on this contract? He's got like 2 more years, 3 more years after this one. So yeah, if he can rattle off another 40 points this year, he'll be north of 800. And then he basically just needs 3 60-point seasons to finish off his career as an Oiler, and he'll pretty much be there.
Yeah, I think Nuge is pretty much a lock to get there, to be honest. And so he would not only be the first Oiler to go hopefully end-to-end in his career, but the first Oiler to go end-to-end and get 1,000 points only with the Oilers. Unless
I mean, yes. Yeah, like Draisaitl and McDavid, I guess, could also both go wire to wire as Oilers, but I guess Nuge would be the first because he's the oldest. But yeah, like Edmonton's already the first franchise in NHL history to have 5 players record 1,000 points with their franchise. They will very likely be 6 at some point with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Like, he's going to get there. He's way too close already. He's way too good of a player. Like, he's 32. He's playing till he's 38, 39. That's why, again, I said, like, even if he falls off in his last 3 years with the Oilers, I doubt he ever goes anywhere else, but even if he has to go somewhere else to finish off his career, he'll get to 1,000 points.
I don't think Calgary has anybody.
Iggy.
Just to throw them under the bus. I don't think he got 1,000 points with them.
Really?
Or maybe they have one and it's a Ginla.
Jerome Ginla with the Flames had 1,095.
Damn it. Okay, so they only have one.
There you
maybe.
Go. I think so. Okay, next one I got for you. Let's talk about Connor McDavid, who is he's in classic supernova Connor McDavid mode. 20 points in his last 7 games, Liam. Connor McDavid, he is now moved. 10 days ago, he was plus 230 to win the scoring race. He's now the favorite on Bet365. Shout out to Bet365. Percent chance Connor McDavid wins the scoring race this year, Liam?
100%. He's the best player in the league, and when he's on his game, nobody touches him.
Okay. He briefly took over the scoring lead, and then McKinnon took it back last night. But I won't go 100, but I'll say, like, I think it's still a good bet at minus 115 or whatever it is. I'll say like 78% chance that Connor McDavid wins the scoring title over McKinnon. Like, McKinnon is on another level, and McKinnon cashes a lot of empty netters and things of that nature. Like, he does pat him up too, and he's a little bit better at that than Connor is. But I'll say 78% chance that Connor McDavid wins the scoring title. This bet I made at the start of the year wasn't looking good for a while, but Connor McDavid is now up to 20 goals in 34 games, Liam. So if you do that math, 20, 34 times 82, he's on pace for 48. How many goals do you think Connor McDavid ends the season with? Fill in the blank.
50.
You think he gets it?
I think he will. Again, like we saw him, we've seen him get close to these targets so many times, and he always hits them. Like, if he wants to get it, he will go get it. And at the start of the season, it didn't look good, like you said. But he said, he's like, I want to score more goals this season. I want to prove that 60-goal season wasn't just a single season on its own. I can do it often. So I think he'll get 50. Aaron, could you actually, since you brought up your futures bet, it'd be good to see where we're at with some of these futures bets we did earlier in the season too for our draft there. And if you don't mind cycling that in later on. I can't remember what half of mine were.
If we don't have it ready to go, we could just make that a segment on tomorrow's show as well.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't mind like actually taking a big in-depth look at that, because it is probably about that time that we dig into it. But yeah, I'll say Connor McDavid gets 51. I think it'll be like a game late in the season. Connor will be at 49 and he'll score one, then he'll like cash an empty netter or something like that. Knockout. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Eichel. Oh, I saw Eichel got hurt. Frick. Anaheim. My Anaheim and my Demidov are looking good.
My Anaheim will be fine. I still believe they will fall down. Toronto's not looking ideal, but it's not done. Gunther has fallen off his pace, but Eichel's my dream. Just don't finish last.
You need Gunther at 40?
Yeah, I think he's on pace for like 33 or something like that.
He is 15 divided by 35 times 82. He's on pace for dead on 35. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Aaron's looking
Eli
good with
definitely
his-
not going to hold. Yeah, Aaron looks good. We'll be fine, maybe. Hopefully not you three, but me. I'll be fine.
The one that actually might save Eli in this whole thing, though, is Draisaitl going to potentially lead the league in power play points? I'm looking it up right now.
Oh, 1,000 plus 1,000. No, I don't think so. Where is he at?
He's second, but he's already behind Connor McDavid by 2, so that might be what hoops him.
That would be kind of funny if that was the reason why. What did Anaheim still top of the division, or have they tumbled down a little bit?
I think they're still top.
Okay, I still believe.
Okay, there you go. Let's keep cruising along. We might wrap up a little bit early today. Just tying up some loose ends from the game last night. Curtis Lazar, I thought he was never going to play again.
Yeah, I thought he was toast. That was a bit of a nasty injury. Do we have that highlight, Aaron? Sorry, I didn't put anything in the prep sheet for it, but if not, it's okay. He got tangled up a little bit beforehand, which was interesting too. Could you argue maybe an interference call as well? Like right on the boards, like the guy's wrapping him up and then just doesn't let him go until right at the end, and his knees underneath him. I actually can't believe he came back in the game. It was honestly incredible.
Yeah, and they were up like 5-2, I think, when he came back. So I was like, why is this guy even pushing it? But maybe it was just like a Charlie horse thing or something like that. I know that's like lower in your leg than where you traditionally get a Charlie horse, but it might have just like dead leg and stunned him a little bit, but he was good to go. So that's good.
It was funny though on the broadcast when Jack and Louie were looking, like, we just don't see him on the bench anywhere. And they're like, oh, he's taking the face off. He is on the ice.
Yeah. That was pretty funny. And Aaron, I know we didn't give Aaron his proper love. Aaron might go 4 for 4 in that contest.
I didn't. What did Aaron have? I was more focused on where I might go. Oh,
McDavid's cashing.
Yeah, but the problem is Aaron might go 4 for 4, but his odds are low. So it's total, right?
Yeah, but like if he's at +4 units, like Eli could only really beat him if like Caulfield scores 40 or Draisaitl gets the most power play points, which is possible. But even then, I think Eli is like tying him at best. I have a couple, but I would need to hit 2 of 4. Like Hughes isn't hitting 40 goals, so I would need to go 3 for 4 to potentially beat Aaron because of my Hughes one. Like I don't know, it'll be close. Brady Tkachuk got hurt and missed about 20 games, but he's still looking like a point per game player. So you're actually not that hooped, Aaron.
I thought I was dead in the water the moment we did this. When Brady Tkachuk went down, Tage Thompson wasn't totally scoring, but all of a sudden, I made them all around -110, +100, just a couple singles. Maybe I can get 4 singles here and not run the milk mile. Also, it's snowing like crazy outside right now.
Yeah, I can see a little bit from my basement. It's wild. All right. I think we're going to wrap this bad boy up. Tomorrow, Pete Blackburn's going to be on the show because it's a game day, Oilers and Bruins, Liam.
Oh, nice. Nice. We get to talk to Pete about heated rivalry.
Yep. And about Morgan Geekie, who he is a big, big fan of. And how could you not be? Morgan Geekie might be sneakily getting his way into the Hart Trophy conversation with how well he's playing, which is just a wild sentence to say out loud, but it's true. That's a wrap on today's edition of the show. Shout out to Jeff Marek for swinging by. Shout out to our guy Tristan from Germany for giving us a few times, even with the time change. Have a good Wednesday, everybody. Stay safe. Drive safely if you got to head out of the house. And we'll see you all back here tomorrow at noon Mountain. Oil up. What's up, Nation citizens? If you enjoyed today's episode of Oilers Nation Everyday, make sure you hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube to not miss any of our content. We got you covered from interviews, insight, analysis, everything you need to stay up to date on everything around the team. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video.